I don't like arena fighters. I don't like assists in fighting games. I don't like gacha games. I don't like unlocking characters for fighting games, and I don't like breakaways. And yet somehow this new arena fighter, Hidden Ones, features a gacha mechanic that requires you to unlock characters with currency, is shaping up to be my favourite arena fighter ever. Arena fighters, unlike traditional fighting games, often feel like button mashers, more akin to that of a beat 'em up than a fighting game. That's not to say I don't see any value in them. They do. They are excellent ways to get into fighting game, particularly anime fans who are eager to get in the genre. However, my biggest problem, and this has always been my biggest problem with arena fighters, they always feel like copy-paste versions of the previous game. If you've played Naruto Storm, you've essentially played Naruto Shippuden Storm. There are a few standouts here and there like Kill the Caliph or My Hero One's Justice. Those are the exceptions though, and not the rule. Most arena fighters feel like a cheap cash grab. Hidden Ones at first glance feels like the same old arena fighter formula. Basic attack, 2 specials, and up to 3 assists, called Doppelgangers. Doppelgang? So what makes it stand out? The blocking system. Blocking in Hidden Ones is relatively unique. A regular attack will go through a block whilst special moves will get blocked. This seems counterintuitive at first, but in practice it does add a very deep layer of strategy to the game. If you block a regular attack, it turns into a grab, which does sound overpowering. However, there is incentive to landing a normal attack, because they lead to full combo or forcing the opponent into a breakaway state, which can set up for more extension if you read it correct. Throws, which are usually a niche tool in arena fighters, become surprisingly useful here. The result, Hidden Ones isn't a mindless button masher. It demands strategy and a methodical play in order to understand when you should grab and when you should use specials. It makes it so that the dynamic is based around attacking and grabbing. Another layer of depth is the dodging mechanic. Skills have tracking, meaning they can follow opponents. This game does allow for sidesteps, but dodging consumes stamina. If you sidestep an attack, or at least a special attack, you are at risk of not only consuming stamina, but at risk of being hit by a lingering hitbox. However, sidestepping a regular attack gives you enough frame advantage to give a punish. Because you can block special moves, it allows you to counter them with block. Because you're able to sidestep regular attacks, you're able to essentially whiff punish any regular attack. This creates a rich risk versus reward system, blocking special moves, entering you into a cutscene, immediately allowing you to counter. Not all counters are created equally though. Different counters require different properties, requiring the player to use different thought processes in order to get the best robust punish. This is genius! To understand the system even further, you have to consider stuff like stamina management. Stamina allows you to do a few key actions, namely sidestep, cancel a move, and performing breakaways. Cancelling special moves into grabs mixes up opportunities to keep the opponent guessing breakaways. I typically dislike them in fighting games, but in this game, combos can deal up to 80% damage, making breakaways critical, yet at the same time, costly if you do it incorrectly. Plus, special moves have tracking. An opponent can read your breakaway and naturally punish you for it, making breakaways not guaranteed or escape. You've essentially lost stamina if you've broke away wrong. This keeps defensive players in check, ensuring that breakaway remains a strategic decision rather than a get out of jail free card. Additionally, Hidden Ones is a team-based game. You must learn multiple characters, all the while understanding the similarities and differences between those characters. They are all clones, and this adds a refreshing layer of depth. Yes, in games like Storm, they were not all clones. Yes. However, all of these characters do feel relatively unique and don't always give the same opportunities as another one. They are not all the same character, and they do feel unique enough that I can safely say that you will have different experiences depending on what characters you play. Now, how does Hidden One handle assist? Perfectly, and I genuinely mean perfectly. Hidden Ones takes the best parts of the system and removes its biggest flaw. Unlike a traditional assist mechanic, Hidden Ones doesn't force you to choose a character over an assist. They instead use something called Doppelgangers, which copy moves but are not separate to the original fighters. You can still pick out your squad, the doppelgangers are just extra. This means you can pick assists that complement just one character or benefit the entire squad. And since everyone has access to doppelgangers, it never feels unfair or feels like you're losing out on a character slot. And this is the biggest problem I have with assist-based fighters. It sometimes feels like the only reason you're picking one character is to fill out an assist role, when instead, why not just make the assist role an added extra? Every single move in the hidden ones has a set cooldown period, meaning you can't spam them. You can use them in combos, but you must make the decision to either extend the combos or use them as a tracking option to counterplay movement found in the game. Since these moves are not tied to meter, you always have access to them, meaning you just need to wait for the cooldown to reset and ensuring you have a strategic flow of consistent choices. Assists work more or less the same, but they have a separate cooldown from special moves. If you ban one though, you ban the rest. This means you have to carefully consider when and why you should be using them and how you can utilize all of these assists. This gives you plenty of creative freedom to create setups or combos depending on what the assist is, allowing for a greater flow of your own strategies. Whilst I understand the developers' intentions to prevent screen clutter and potentially broken setups, I feel like it restricts the players way too much and is a massive drawback, particularly for characters who heavily rely on doppelganger use. The example I can think of is Teleport Doppelganger. It has a lot of mobility, a lot of mix-up potential, allowing for both offensive and defensive strategies. However, having a global cooldown that impacts every single assist forces the overall usage of good doppelgangers to feel very limited. Instead of locking out all assists after just using one, I really would love to see it that you could use multiple in one combo or in one setup. I think this would just give so much creativity if you could chain together doppelgangers. It honestly would be quite fun. Additionally, the hidden ones have made a self-regulating balancing system that lets assists not be overpowered. If an assist is too strong, then put it up or down in the amount of slots it takes up. This ensures a natural balancing process. And since assists are based on existing characters, they never feel like wasted potential. Instead, they just feel like they're a part of the game. They just feel like they're assisting you. It gives you a sense that they're an addition to the roster rather than just robbing you from something in the roster.
Feet! Give me the feet!
I usually hate gacha games. RNG-based systems always feels like it leads into a gambling addiction. The idea of spending thousands and thousands and thousands on virtual currency is a major turn-off. I do play things like Master Duel, but the gacha mechanic feels more controlled. Unwanted cards you can just dismantle and get desired ones. Pretty simple approach. I quite like that. It's a neat way of doing it. The hidden ones takes a similar approach by removing RNG from character recruitment. Instead of paying in-game currency for a pack, you pay it for a specific character of your choice. This system is brilliant. It keeps the character roster expanding, encouraging daily playing and maintaining a freshness without being predatory in microtransactions. My only complaint? Characters are a bit pricey. Yes, the game does dole out enough currency keep it things balanced, but I prefer it for, cost a little less. I've also got to buy, doppelgangers. Why am I paying 5k for a character? That's a decision I don't want to do. One area this game could be improved is providing a way to test characters before unlocking them. A trial mode where players can try out the character in that one area for a limited time only. This would be invaluable, helping players make informed choices in where they should be investing their currency, allowing them to get familiar with the character before they invest in the character. Of course, this game isn't perfect. It's a pre-alpha. It's not going to be perfect in the pre-alpha stage. It lacks EU servers, which is a massive issue. As an EU player, I'm constantly having to deal with lag. I have to connect to an NA server, and it makes it difficult to react properly in fights. The online itself is solid, but the connection, I don't have any other choice because I have no way of actually accurately going about this because I don't have an EU server to connect to. Additionally, because progress is tied to online leveling, you're forced to engage with online modes to advance the story. If the online infrastructure isn't addressed, this could be a serious problem just for the casual players, let alone people who actually want to play the game. And again, I want to address this. One of the biggest hurdles I do see with this game is the roster is going to be massive, meaning it's not going to be feasible to learn every single character with the currency you get. You're going to need like once every 2 weeks to make a small selection of the characters available for free. League of Legends does this. Yu-Gi-Oh has something called a tryout duels that let you play formats like Edison or Go. It gives players the chance to understand deck mechanics and strategies that they may not see in the actual ranked matches. The tryout mode in this game would benefit in the same way. It would help players explore team compositions and understand team character synergies. It'll give you the feeling of what your potential main character should be rather than waste potential currency to get the character. Understanding team dynamic is an essential part in almost any team-based game. Some characters will function like batteries, building for a strong finish. Others will be defensive anchors, providing the essentials, allowing you to counterplay them should you be at your last character, and many will be the bridges that will make these two playstyles synergistic. Without a tryout system, you won't fully truly grasp what your character can do before unlocking them. A structured tryout system would not only benefit the individual player, it would diversify the overall meta. Most people will be encouraged to experiment, leading to a wider range of team compositions. The developers have already created a game with deep and strategic potentials. Adding a trial system would make that depth even more accessible to both new and experienced players alike. Despite its flaws, I absolutely love Hidden Ones. If it remains free to play, it's an easy recommend. Whilst the online situation is concerning, if the developers iron out these issues, particularly the EU server, this could be one of my favourite Gacha games and easily one of my most favourite arena fighter games on the market. I'm definitely going to keep an eye out on this title, and I will be checking out the Hidden Ones anime. I am very much invested in this world, and if you are interested in arena fighters, if you're interested in fighting games in general, I highly recommend that you check this game out. If it's going to be free, it's a must try out, even if it's just for a little bit. It doesn't feel too invasive with microtransactions at the current moment. If it does, then it's a massive turn off. But it's worth following this game if you are interested in just gacha games in general, or just want to learn fighting games. If it's free, it's a starting point. You don't like it, just uninstall. You haven't lost anything because the game, at the current moment, is free. Sorry I've been gone for about a month. I made a 31-page manifesto on a 20-year-old game. So yeah, that's something to look forward to in the future. Other than that, I'm just going to try and make stuff that is slightly easier to make than a 30-page manifesto. I wanted to make this one because it's in pre-alpha, give people a shot to try it out, and I'm not gonna lie, I have actually been enjoying it, so give it a shot. Ja, matane yo.